All right, good morning, guys, and welcome to Market Breakdown for the upcoming week, the week of the 6th of July, 2025. We had an amazing week last week. I believe all of the pairs that I had broken down last weekend did exactly what I had expected them to do. So we had 100%. So let's just recap. Remember, we had said that this here was a confluence, and so we had expected this to sell off. Well, it did sell off, but the caveat to it was that for the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, we went a bit higher. Then we sold off. And I'm not going to lie, this move took me out, but then I was able to come back on this move. Same thing was true with the NZD card. We expected that to sell off. The GBP JPY sell off nicely. Nicely. They stayed more than what we expected to. I was expecting this price to stop at this level, but it actually broke through and came all the way down to the trend line. The other pair, the CAD JPY, it sold, but eventually with the news with the NFP on Thursday, we broke through this resistance level and we made our way to the upside. AUD CHF sold off twice, whether we were anticipating a move to touch the resistance and then sell off. We didn't quite get that initially in the week, but later on Thursday, we got closer to it and then we sold off once again on Friday. All right, so let's get into what we expect to happen this week. So my first and my favorite pair would be our EuroCAD. Now, EuroCAD seems to be at a crossroads right now. We look like we're going to change direction with this move. All right, we're at a monthly high. We're at monthly high, and we're seeing some rejection at that point. All right. Last week we created a doji. We broke through on Thursday, thanks to the NFP. And then on Friday, we retested. So we broke the retest on Friday. I'm expecting us to continue selling. So we might get a retest of this area and then sell down. This is a counter trend trade because you can see price on all the major time frames is in an upward bullish momentum. And so we're counter trend here. So not exactly certain how far price will sell down. It would be ideal if price would sell us all the way down to this support level. If it does, it will create a massive 4-hour head and shoulders candle. But look out for price to either meander at this point and then sell down, or maybe take us back to this point, reject, and then sell down. But the ultimate move is for price to sell down. Look for your confirmations and then get in the trade. My next pair would be the GBP USD, which looks quite similar to the EuroCAD. We're not quite on a trend line here, but we're still below this resistance point. It would have been ideal if price would have gotten all the way up to this point and then we get the sell off of it. But I think that can still happen. But for the upcoming week, I do believe that it's possible that we get a bit more of retracement. So we're still bullish there, both on the monthly and the weekly. On the daily, we're still bullish as well. This one is a more of a tricky trade. We saw price retrace, broke down, and retested on Thursday with the NFP. But if you can see that there wasn't a big move as a result of that. It retested again on Friday when there was a bank holiday for the 4th of July. We didn't get much of a big move, but we did reject the area, which gives the belief that it's possible price can sell a little further. And if price does sell further, I'm expecting it to sell maybe at about this level. And the reason why I think it's going to sell at that level is because of this. We take a look. This was our last retracement. Right, right, right about that level. Just copying the previous retracement. And we can also see that there's a bit of a support in this area as well. So I'm expecting price to bring us to this level here at the 1.34751 level. And as long as it gets to that level, I'm expecting price to continue upwards to try to hit this resistance area. My next pair is the Euro NZD. We're on a strong bullish momentum, both on the monthly, the weekly, and as well on the daily. Now, while the GBP AUD and GBP NZD were selling off last week, the Euro NZD kept it in bullish momentum. So what I want to see here, I would love for price to retrace back to this trend line. Once price retraces to the trend line, I'm going to take the buy. All right. I don't see this momentum stopping within the next week or two. So I'm expecting price to get at least to this resistance area. So ideally, I want to wait until price retraces to the trend line. Once it retraces to the trend line, I'm going to take that buy. My next pair, GBP. Now, this was a pair from last week as well, where we had expected sells, and it did sell. So as you can remember, price was at this resistance level, and it sold off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, bought off the resistance on Thursday and on Friday. Now it's also at resistance here, and it's also at a trend line. So what I'm hoping for is that price will retrace back to this support level, and then we can sell, we can buy up once again. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a retracement back down to the support level, and then once we get that and we get confirmations, I'm going to go and I'm going to hop in for a buy. Coming down to my last two pairs, the USD JPY. Now, on this monthly, we are on a bearish, but we can see that the tides are changing. We're now on a, as it is for the weekly, we are on a bullish momentum. The low, the high, the low, higher low, slightly higher high, higher low. Expected to continue to the upside with a higher high. And on the weekly, you can see we have a doji there as well. All right. So that's a sign of a reversal. So expect a bullish candle this week. So I'm looking for buys here on the USD/JPY. As you can see, price broke through this resistance level on Thursday. We retested the level on Friday, and I expect price to make its way up in the coming week. So might potentially retest this area on Monday and then go all the way. Or we might not. We might just make the move to the upside on Monday. But regardless of how it is, I expect price to take the move to the upside and continue this bullish momentum. My last pair would be the Euro GBP. As we can see, we've had strong bullish momentum. The price breaking this structure, breaking that resistance. We're just above it right now with the weekly. On the daily, on Wednesday, we broke through to this massive bullish candle. We retested this area on Thursday, and Friday, we started a continuation to the upside, but we didn't have the volume that we needed to continue all the way up. So what I'm expecting is for price to continue with this bullish momentum. Maybe we might retest this what is now support and then continue to the upside. So that's what I'm expecting. So this was our break. We retested. We have our bullish momentum. But the latter part of Friday, we started to sell once again. So I'm expecting a continued bullish momentum on the Euro GBP. And that brings us to the end of our breakdown for the upcoming week. We had a very nice week last week. All the pairs moved as predicted direction. Remember, look out for your break and retest, and stick to your trading plan. All right, thank you guys for joining me this week. I'll be here again next week for, if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. Recommend my page to your friends so my channel can grow. I only have maybe 1 or 2 subscribers, and I only get maybe 2 or 3 views per week on average. Sometimes I make a big video that gets about 28 views. I do it because I enjoy it. I like it. I'm not trying to make any money off of this. I'm just trying to share a little bit of knowledge and maybe start a community. Get a few friends who also trade. All right. Thank you for your time, and see you again next week.